People, what's up? I hope you guys watched the previous video and only then you have come to this. Why? People, breathe in, breathe out. Why, sir? Now I'm going to put my hand in your brain and I'm going to shake it. Why, sir? Listen carefully. Very easy topic, but do not complicate it. Disclaimer number 1, do not refer to any other book. Disclaimer number 2, do not watch any other video. Because this particular provision, people, this could have been written in a pretty good manner. If you guys read in your textbook itself, it's completely different. Yeah, I've tried to put it in a way where you guys can understand, but yes, even this can be a little complicated, but I cannot deviate even more as well. So people, first thing, do not read it from multiple places. Try to stick on to this. You will understand. Clear? All of you, simple. Okay. Now what we are going to study is, people, we are going to study about residential status. Sir, what, sir? This is like nothing for us, sir. We are tax students, sir. What are you talking, sir? Simply you will give build up. They listen, da. First thing, first disclaimer, income tax does not apply to FEMA. Meaning, people, as per your Income Tax Act, whatever is the residential status, person resident in India, that definition is different. This definition is different, nowhere related. So take that out of your mind when this subject is going on. That time this is not related. Second one, when we get that, I'll tell you. For now, concentrate on residential status. Now people, I'm going to tell you about residential status of a person. Sir, which person? I'm going to tell you about an individual. Sir, an individual can have two status. One, he can be a person resident in India. So whenever I'm going to tell you PRI, he is a person resident in India. Or he can be a person resident outside India. Sir, maximum a person can have these two status of residency. That is, one is person resident in India. The next one is person resident outside India. Concentrate. Sir, I'm not going to explain you about PROI. We will just see who is a PRI. So PRI definition is given. If a person satisfies that definition, he is a person resident in India. If a person does not satisfy that particular definition, then it is by default understood and assumed as he is a PROI. So if it is a into mark here, it will be a tick mark here. This is a simple logic which will apply here. Is this clear? All of you? Okay. The next, sir, tip number 3. Tip number 3. Listen carefully. What does the law say? People, which citizen you are. I repeat, which citizen you are. Citizenship is nothing to do with residency. Meaning, I am an Indian citizen, I can very well be a person resident outside India. If you are Obama, you can very well be a person resident in India. Both are possible. So citizenship is nothing to do with residential status. Keep this in mind. Clear? All of you? With that, let us start. Concentrate. Yeah. So sir, status of residency, I'll be teaching you now person resident in India. Sir, who is a person resident in India? PRI. People listen carefully. A person resident in India means a person residing in India. Sir, who is a person resident in India? A person who is staying in India for more than 182 days during the preceding financial year. People, I'll be writing, something like, you guys also can make a note of it or you can write it on the book there only. I'll be writing something like questionable points or points to remember. Yeah, let us keep on adding. First thing, citizenship is irrelevant. Citizenship is irrelevant to determine the residential status. You can write it. Citizenship is irrelevant to determine the residential status. Second one, to know whether a person is resident in India or not, we decide it based upon residential status in previous year. In previous year decides the status in current year. Meaning, people, listen carefully. If I want to know whether a person is a resident or not for the year 2021 and 2022, if I am finding a residential status for 21-22, then I need to consider the previous year's status. Nothing to do in this year. For now, clear, all of you? Okay. So listen, it means who is a person resident in India? He is a person who is residing in India for more than 182 days. Point number 3. People, more than 182 days. Sir, if he has stayed in India exactly for 182 days, he is not a PRI. That means, people, here more than 182 means, in fact, it is 183. 182 is considered as PROI. If it is 183 or above, it will be considered as PRI. That is the meaning of more than 182, right? So remember question point number 3. It is 183 days technically. Yeah. Okay. During the preceding financial year. Previous financial year. So in the previous year, if he was in India, in this year, he will be a person resident in India. Is this clear? All of you? Pakka? Yes? Okay. Listen carefully. This is where I told you they have not drafted this particular section clearly. They have not drafted this section clearly. Now why? People, listen very carefully. Question point number 3. Assume, people, in the previous year, you have stayed in India for 183 days. In the previous year. Okay. But sir, in the current year, I repeat, in the current year, if at all you have gone out of India, you have left India. I repeat, in the previous year, you were there in India for 183 days. Okay. As per our definition, you are a person resident in India. Why PRI is very simple, no? If any person who stayed in India in the previous year for more than 182 days, he is a PRI. Now, people, you have stayed in the previous year for 183 days. But in the current year, you left India. Sir, now I'll ask you, why did you leave India? I will ask you for the reason. I will ask you for the reason. Okay, listen to this carefully. The reasons can be okay, I'll write it this way. The reasons can be the 3 specified reasons or any other reason. Or any other reason. So people, in the previous year, you were there in India for 183 days. But in the current year, you wanted to go out of India. Okay. Why did you go out of India? Sir, I had to go out of India for any of the 3 specified reasons, or you went out of India for any other reason. Listen carefully. People, if at all in the current year, if you have gone out of the India for any of the 3 reasons, what are the 3? I tell you. If you have gone out of India in the current year for any of the 3 reasons, then people, you will be considered as a person resident outside India. We will call this person as a person resident outside India. Even though he was residing in India for more than 182 days in the previous year, this year he was not in India for this purpose. For those 3 purposes. For those 3 purposes, if you go out, then you are considered an outside citizen. I mean, outside resident, not Indian resident. Okay, sir. Sir, I did not go for these three reasons. I went out for some other reason. If you went out in the current year for any other reasons apart from these three reasons, you will be considered as PRI. So, sir, first logic. Imagine people, my name is Sai. These are the questions will be. My name is Sai. Sir, I am a citizen of India. I stayed in India for the period 2020-21. I stayed in India for 200 days. Now I will ask you, what is my residential status for 21-22? It's very easy. What is the condition? If you are a PRI, if I want to find it out for this year, then I need to check it in the this year. Correct? So in the year 2021, I have stayed for more than 182 days. So I will be considered as a PRI in this year. Simple, all of you. Scenario number 2. Listen carefully. Sir, same scenario. In the 2021, my name is Sai. I was in India for more than 200 days. Sir, in 21-22, they are asking me what is my residential status. Sir, in 21-22, were you in India? No, sir. In between, I wanted to go out of India. When, sir, in the current year, I wanted to go out of India. Okay. Why did you go out? Sir, I wanted to go out for any of the three reasons. Oh, you went out for the three reasons? Go down. You stay there only. I will kick you. So, a person who though stayed in the previous year for more than 182 days, you are going for these three reasons, we will kick you. You stay there only. You are a resident outside India for us. So, people, in this year, he will be considered as PROI. Clear? Sir, third scenario. Sir, 2021, you stayed for more than 200 days. Sir, 21-22, why did you go out? Sir, any other reason, not those three, then you will be considered as PRI. I hope this is very clear. Why, sir, people? Because to know this, I actually wanted to know from you when you are here, whether you guys understood or not. But yes, if you did not understand, let me know. Clear? Now I am going to take you to the theoretical part. Listen carefully. So, person resident India means a person residing in India for more than 182 days during the preceding financial year. Correct? Okay. But these people are excluded. So, it means a person residing in India for more than 182 days during the preceding financial year. Following categories are excluded. Who are they? See here, person who has gone out of India. Person who has gone out of India for three reasons, he is excluded. Excluded from what? Excluded from PRI status. So, sir, a PRI, if he has gone out of India for these three reasons, he is excluded from PRI status. If he is excluded from PRI status, then what is he? He is a PROI. Getting the point? All of you? Pakka? Awesome. Now listen carefully. Sir, what are the three reasons? First one, if he has gone for employment. You study here, you eat here, you are going for employment there, then you are a resident of that country, not this country. The law says. Yeah. So if you are going out for employment, you will be considered as a resident of that country and not resident of this country. Next one. Sir, you are going out of India to do any business or occasion, profession. Sir, you are going out of India to do employment. So remember three things: employment, business, occasion. Occasion means profession. So you are going out of India in the current year for business, employment or occasion, profession. If you are going for any of these things, you will be considered as a PROI only. That is, you are not included in PRI. You are excluded. That means you are a PROI. Clear? Third one. Any other purpose and intention to stay outside India for uncertain period. Sir, what is this third one? People, you went outside India. You went outside India. Yeah? Okay. Sir, what are the three reasons? First one, you have gone for employment. Or You went for business or you went for profession? Or you went to a country out of India. Okay. I asked you, beta, when are you going to come back? You said, I don't know. Meaning, I don't know how long I'm going to stay there. I don't know. So people, you're going out of India for a purpose and for a period which is uncertain. You do not know what is the time you are going to stay. So people, when the time is uncertain, when the time of stay, what you stay there is uncertain. You do not know your stay there. Intention to stay outside India for uncertain period. You have an intention to stay there for an uncertain period. The time you do not know. Uncertain period. So people, if you have gone out of India in the current year for any of these three reasons, then even though you have been in India in the previous year, you will still be considered as PROI. If you have gone out of India for any other reason, then in the current year, you will be considered as PRI. Sir, give us an example. I'll give you one word. You tell me. I went to a place, Paris. I went to Paris. Yes, sir. Now people, I went to Paris for what? I went to Paris for tourism. I went to Paris for tourism. Now you people, you tell me whether this tourism purpose, will it fall in any of these categories? Will this tourism fall in any of these categories? You people try to think and tell. Will tourism fall in any of these three categories? It is definitely not employment. It is definitely not business or profession. People, will you go for a tour? If someone asks you, when will you come back? You tell me, day, you would have booked a round tickets. When you go, when you come. Will you stay there for a period uncertain? Huh? So people, tourism falls here. Are you getting the point? So imagine people, in the year 2021, you were in India. In 2022, you went for a tour and came back. For this year, you are still a PRI. But in the year 21-22, here, sir, you were in India for more than 200 days, but you went outside India in the current year for any of these three purposes. Then for this year, you will be considered as PROI. Is this clear? All of you? Something went inside. People, I'll be giving you, I don't know how many questions, how many scenarios. I'll tell you what is the work I've done here. Can you see examples on residential status? I've given you the question. I've given you whether it is or not with your explanation. Why? Yeah. And apart from this, I'll be giving you also exam based questions. This is just for your practice. Clear? We'll be doing everything, people. Do not worry. But theoretically, did you guys understand? All of you. Do not look into your textbook. Promise, don't look into it. Gone only. Understood, all of you? Okay, people. So this person is called as a person resident in India. Yeah. So a person who has stayed in the previous year for more than 182 days will be considered as a PRI. But excluded categories. Sir, why did you say that this particular section is not drafted well? Nowhere they have mentioned a person who has gone out of India. But when? Nowhere it is mentioned in the current year, previous year, which year. So people, this has been assumed as current year. Sir, is it by you? No, this is industrial practice. You see your question papers, practice papers everywhere. They have assumed this. But the theory or whatever is the law, the lawmakers have not put this condition so evidently in the act. It is not there. And this excluded category, so don't even ask the complicated words which is used. You cannot understand. That is the reason people will make this particular provision very complicated. I know even after that you guys can get complicated. I've given you again in short. If a person has gone out for any other purpose, so any other purpose other than these three, he shall be considered PRI. If he goes for these three, he will be considered PROI. I feel this is sufficient. Let me know if you're understanding or not. Just now some military jet went. Okay. Now people, I hope PRI is clear. Yes. Okay. Now listen carefully. Now indirectly we were talking about in the first scenario, whatever I explained you, I was talking about generally I was talking about a person who was in India throughout, he had to go out. Now let us look at a person who wants to come to India. Because initially I told you, residency is nothing to do with citizenship. Now all this while I am explaining you, sir, in the current year if he is going out of India, in the current year if he is going out of India. Now let us see a scenario where in the current year he comes to India. Are you getting the point, all of you? Yes? Okay. The first scenario you need to see. Now the second scenario, listen carefully. Now we are seeing about a person who is coming from outside India to India. The first scenario is same people. In the previous year, he should have stayed for more than 182 days. So I have taken it as 183 days. Assume he has stayed in India for 183 days. Now people, listen very carefully. What does the law say? Sir, if at all there is a person who has stayed in India for the year 2021, he has stayed in India. Yes, sir. So this is in the previous year. Sir, now they are asking you what is the status in the current year. Sir, in the previous year, he was staying for, assume, more than 200 days. And sir, current year, he has come to India. Sir, there he was going out of India. In the current year has come to India. Now, I'll again ask the same thing. What is the reason he has come for? Why did he come for? If it is these three reasons or any other reason. Sir, a person who is basically an outsider. Sir, a person who is basically an outsider. Sir, in the previous year, he was there in India for 200 days and he went again. Sir, again in the current year, he came back. Sir, now we want to know whether this person is a resident, that is PRI or PROI. People listen very carefully. For our person, we said in the previous year, if you were in India, for our person, we said for previous year, if you were in India, and in the current year, you went out of India, then you belong there. We only said, right? In the current year, our person went outside India. Then we said, hey, Deshdrohi, you are there. You are not ours. We said, not Deshdrohi, obviously. They actually, they pay taxes, man. I mean, we need to give respect to them. And of course, they have gone there for a reason. Yeah. But yes, to remember the concepts I am telling you. Okay. So we are telling, hey, you, a person belonging to us, if you went there, that means you belong there. Correct? Now, don't you think even they will say the same thing? Hey, you, if you are going for any of these three reasons, then even their country will say you do not belong to US, you belong to India. Even they would say that, right? With the same logic, understand the second concept. If at all in the previous year you were in India and in the current year you again have come to India, so the reason, if the reason is the three, if the reasons are those three, you will be considered as PRI. If it is any other reason you have come for in India for in the current year, it will be considered as PROI. It's opposite. Why? Think logically. When our person who went outside India in the current year, for those three purposes, we are telling you belong there. In the same way, now we are looking at the other way. A person who has come to India in the current year for those three purposes, then we have to say he belongs here, no? When our person should belong there for those three purposes, their person should belong here for those three purposes. So if he has come to India for those three purposes, he is a PRI. If he has come for any other reason, he is a PROI. Is this clear? All of you. Is this clear? People, something went inside. All of you. Now read the text. People, this part, people, the worstly drafted provision. Yeah. Now see, excluded categories, correct? The first one, person who has gone out of India for these purpose, he is excluded from PRI. Now they are saying a person who has come to stay in India, not for. So people, excluded categories. A person who has come to stay in India, not for these things, is excluded. If these things, it is included. Are you getting the framing? If a person who has come to stay in India, not for these reasons. If it is not for these reason, that reason is excluded. If he has come for this reason, it is included. So people, person who has come to stay in India, not for employment, not for business, not for uncertain period, then it is excluded. If a person has come to India for employment, to do business, to stay in India for uncertain period, then he is included. People again have done the same thing. Listen here. In short, if a person comes to India for any other purpose than this, then he is considered as PROI. If he comes for any of these three purposes, he is considered as PRI. Why? Because these three are not excluded. Any other thing not being these three are excluded, but these three are included. Clear? All of you? Yes? Just to tell you, people, see, this is what the textbook has given. Yeah? A person who has come to or stay in India otherwise than for any of the three purpose, otherwise than for any of the three purpose, otherwise than for any of the three purpose. What is it otherwise than? They have only put it in caps. Otherwise than. People, that also they felt it is not easy. So they gave you this representation. This is also not easy. They gave you a detailed explanation. Yeah, it goes on, people. Everything is that only. But I hope you guys have understood. Yeah, whatever we have written, but whatever you have seen, if you guys see this, people, I have not taken the cut copy paste. It's a different interpretation what I have tried to given you. Yeah, see, person resident in India is a person residing in India for more than 182 days in the preceding financial year. However, two categories of persons are excluded from the purview of the definition. Who are they? A person who has gone out of India or who stays outside India for taking up employment. So these two categories are excluded from the definition. That means they are excluded from PRI. Who? A person who has gone out of India for taking up employment, business or occasion or uncertain period. In short, that is the same thing I have given here. The second category of person which have been excluded from the definition. Who? A person who has come to stay or stays in India otherwise than. Meaning he has come to stay in India not for these three. If it is for these three, he is included in the definition of PRI. If he is coming for any other purpose other than these three, he is excluded from PRI. That's all. Dab. Yes, all of you clear? Pakka? Yes. So if conditions not satisfied, then he is a PROI. As simple as that. Yeah. So people, for your, I know even there, sir, here and there. So wherever possible, people have given a note. Sir, what does that see? Again, I have written here also. For these reasons, he will be considered as PRI. So for these three reasons, he will be considered as PRI. Sir, for any other reason, he will be considered as PROI. Dave, please, I hope you understood. Please, I hope you guys understood. Yes. So go through, people. Once be thorough with it. I'll be shooting questions at you now. Yeah. First read and then come back.